Okay, so first of all, just what's your name?
Roark Moody,
And when's your birthday?
May the 19th, 1950, born in Chicago.
Okay. And so what part of Chicago are you from?
South Side originally,
And
born on the South Side.
okay, and what was it like growing up there?
Well, growing up, when I grew up in the 50s and 60s was a turbulent time because of the Civil Rights Movement, racism, segregation, hatred, things like that. So it was very volatile. We had the Black Panthers, started the Black Panthers, we had some of the Black Panthers, the Panther Party, and then we had the Vietnam War going on at the same time. So it was a lot of different emotions, and people had different feelings about different things, but mostly Chicago was really a racist town back then, more overly.
Okay. And what are like some of the events like in your life that have influenced you?
Well, some of the events that influenced me mostly would be me going to high school playing sports. I was a
What did you
tremendous
play?
athlete. I'm saying I was a tremendous, but I was really a tremendous. I was a five-letter athlete in high school. I played football, baseball, basketball, swam and ran track all the same year for 4 years in a row at DuSable High School. I'm the most decorated athlete to this day ever that ever graduated from DuSable High School.
Wow.
But it didn't get me nowhere but to Vietnam after that. I was supposed to go to Illinois State on a baseball scholarship. And Nixon was president at the time and came up with the lottery system. And if your birthday came up, that was it. My number was like 13, so I was straight to the nine. But I had a brother that went to Loyola, played basketball for 4 years, graduated from there. And another brother that went to Villanova and played basketball for 4 years and graduated from there. So had I been the only one, I could have went to school, but it was all right. I wouldn't give up that experience for being in Vietnam for anything today. That was one of my most memorable or most influential moments in my lifetime, being in high school playing sports, and then the transitioning from being an athlete to being a soldier and a killer, was quite a jump and a change, because you're looking at basically a future college kid that was looking to play professional baseball, that was just a jovial person, and then he was thrust into a violent situation and it had to alter my lifestyle to live through that. Okay.
Right. Oh, when you think about people, do any people come to mind that have played a big role in who you are today?
Of course, my mother, father, and my brothers were quite influential in me being who I am today. And I'd say my high school coaches, Coach Jim Brown, we called him the Fat Man. That was his nickname. He was very influential in the building of my character. He was real tough on me in basketball. He was the basketball coach there. Other than that, I'd say I was always influenced by Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Stokely Carmichael, H. Brown. All these people I'm naming outside of Dr. King were militant folk. And see how back then I was militant. Okay, even though my father's father, my grandfather, is white. So I didn't grow up a racist because my grandfather was white, and then I knew he was white. He's my father's father. So I mean, but it was, the city was just, segregated, and that's what happened in the city back in them days. And now today it's not like that, and I'm glad to see the change in the city, and also see a black president too.
Me too.
I don't know how good that's going to be on the video, but anyway, that was a factor there. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. It's so hard not to talk. Okay, well, I guess this ties into it. What's the greatest challenge that you faced, and why?
Okay, well, the greatest challenge I faced was once I got back from Vietnam was adjusting to civilian life again. And I'm still battling that struggle today, as a matter of fact. I think that anybody that was in a combat situation or being in war on the front line doesn't come back the same. I didn't come back the same. I've been married twice and divorced twice, and both my exes, I say that, I still be having night sweats and flashbacks, and, I suffer from PTSD. And I'm still fighting the government to get the benefits. They will not give it to me. They told me because it took me, I got out of Vietnam in August of 72. It took me from August of 72 till September of 76 to decide that I'm tired of running the streets, I'm tired of doing drugs, I'm going to get back, straighten my life out. And in September of 76, I enrolled in Columbia College and went there and graduated and got a degree in creative writing and English literature. Mm-hmm. And since then, I've been writing poetry and I'm working. I had a job as an editor for the Department of Commerce, and I did that for 7 years. Then I became a mailman for 7 years. After that, I had another attack with PTSD, a severe one. Contemplated suicide. I didn't do it, and stopped working. I just stopped working. Then I was introduced to StreetWise, and at that point I didn't want to work anymore. I mean, 9 to 5, a regular routine job. So I started selling a magazine, and I've been selling it ever since, and it's been 14 years now.
How did you find out about StreetWise?
Well, I saw people on the corner hollering StreetWise, well, that's the first thing, by just witnessing homeless people selling the magazine. Another one was I had a friend of mine that actually was doing it at the time, who still is here selling StreetWise. I don't know if I should mention his name on the video. I don't know how they would accept that, or if he would want me to do it. But anyway, he brought me here, and I went through orientation. And Greg Pritchett was doing the orientation, and he was also doing what he's doing now, director. And he actually took me to my location, and I've been there ever since. Greg actually stopped what he was doing and took me to my location, and said, "It's a good location. I used to sell right across the street when I was selling," which he did, but now he's in charge, large and in charge. And I put an emphasis on large. Keep that in there. But okay, excuse me. Let me get a grip here. And yeah, he took me to my location. I've been there ever since, working the same location. And it's like people come from Indiana and the south suburbs off the metro or the South Shore, and they come up the stairs and they look for me. And if they don't hear my voice, it's like, he's not here. We're not in Chicago. Moody's not here. So it's like I'm expected to be there, so I'm always there.
Can you talk more about your poetry, like
Sure.
how you got interested in that and
Hey,
how
Russell,
you
what's up?
contributed to StreetWise?
Well, yeah, I've been writing poetry since 2000. Well, no, writing poetry in StreetWise since 2004. That's when I first. It took me 4 years to badger them. From 2000 to 2004, me and Suzanne Haney was button heads because she didn't want any poetry in the magazine. And finally, after my persistence, she caved in. And so since she caved in, it's been going ever since. Strong, too. Going strong ever since. But some of as I was saying, I started writing at 3 years old. I was writing little children's things about dinosaurs and things like that, fairy tale. I started writing poetry seriously at 12 years old. And I knew at 12 years old that I wanted to be a poet. I knew at 3 years old that I was supposed to be a writer. So I've always been writing. I've always been writing poetry, and I thank StreetWise for giving me the opportunity to write my poetry and to publish it and share it with them.
And what kind of poetry is it? Or like, what do you write about?
Well, I write dark poetry. My favorite subject is dark poetry, where I talk about things that concern me. That it's the truth, and people may not necessarily want to hear it, and it'll evoke some type of response or emotion. And it's my dark stuff is usually on the black side. And okay, but then I also write sonnets, and I write haikus, and I write socially conscious stuff to get people to think. So I'm not the roses are red, violets are blue type poet. No, I'm not. I'm a poet that when you read my stuff, you're going to have to sit down, you're going to have to free your mind, clear your mind, and read it, and then say, "Oh wow, that was deep." No, seriously, that's my kind of stuff. I write love poems.
Has that been one of your long-term goals? Like, have you wanted your poetry published, like when you were younger?
Yes, sure. I've always wanted to publish, but the thing about me is I don't care. I'm not in it for the money, because if I was, I'd be trying to, write for some magazine that would pay me to do it. I'm in it just because I love. It's a passion. That's my purpose on this planet, to write poetry and to try to, change the world through my poetry. And that's what I do. So I've always wanted to do it, and I'm thankful that I'm able to use a vehicle, StreetWise, as a vehicle to get my poetry out there.
And what motivates you or inspires you to write?
Life itself. Just walking around looking at the sun or the moon. I wrote a poem last week and turned it in. I can't remember the title of it. It just escapes me. But basically what I was doing, I was looking out my window, and it was a windy day, and I saw this bag flying around in the wind, in the air, and then I saw these three pigeons come around, and they was just zooming to the bag like they was playing tag and stuff, and then they left the bag alone, and then they flew about their business, and the bag kept flying around. And I wrote a poem about it, and it was the most magical thing I had seen all that day. So I thought it'd be cute to write a poem about it, and I wrote a poem about it. So anything can inspire me, just breathing. I have a cat, I wrote a poem about my cat, things like that, regularly. So he's going to be immortalized.
What's like a short-term goal that you have? Like what's something that you're just working towards now that you want to accomplish?
I want StreetWise, because I've submitted over 150 poems, and Brittany is one of my starch proponents in this dream of mine, is to get StreetWise to publish a book of my poetry. And then with that, and once they do that, each vendor can have, the books would be owned by StreetWise. I would own the copyright. That's what the goal is. But StreetWise would own the books, and then each vendor would have the opportunity to purchase the book for $2 and sell it for $5. And they could sell books as well as the magazines, and that would be more revenue for the company, for the organization. And that's really my short-term goal. My long-term goal is once I get one or two books of poetry out completely written and published, then I'll start working on some children's books. I like writing for children, but for young adults from age 12 to 18, that age group. I want to reach towards that age group, because I think that's the age group that's that needs some guidance. That needs the guidance mostly. I think at that point, if they haven't had it, they're not going to get it. Except they're going to get it, but it's going to be in a negative way. So I think they need to have something to read that they can relate to also, not just some fantasy stuff or Pokemon stuff, but some real everyday life experiences that they've experienced or that some of their peers may have experienced that might help them in their decision making as they go along.
Yeah, well, it seems like a good idea to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what motivates you, like, to do what you do every day? Who or what motivates you?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm really motivated to do what I'm doing every day because I feel like I make a difference out there on that corner selling the magazine. I touch a lot of people's lives, and they tell me about it, and they tell. They come right in, sometimes right in and tell StreetWise about it. It's just selling StreetWise entails more than just getting $2 for the magazine and going home and paying their rent. Yeah, you actually, if you have a location like I do and been there any length of time like I have, 14 years, you actually develop a friendship or a kinship with some of these people. And I have developed one with many of my customers. And so that's a motivation for me to get up every day and get out there and sell the magazine, knowing that I'm going to see not only somebody that's going to help me and purchase the magazine, but also a friend of mine. And for example, I know some people who were little babies, like I'm talking about 5 and 6, and used to go to work with their parents when they bring your kid to work day. Well, some of these kids, I've been there so long, they've graduated from college and they're working now, and they're buying the magazine from me. So stuff like that's going on. And the fact that I'm just motivated to do my poetry. and get out there and sell the magazine and point out that I do have a poem in this week's issue. You know, for the most part, all this year they've been publishing my poetry in every issue of the magazine, so it's been very good. And if you got a chance to read any of it, the range is. I show my versatility. The range could be on any subject, any time.
Okay. And
also
then,
like that about StreetWise. They don't edit my stuff. They don't tell me what not to put in. They just throw it in there the way I write it.
So before you said, like, where's your vending location?
Oh yeah, that's a very good question. That people would want to know. I'm at the Metro stop on Randolph in Michigan, right outside the Chicago Cultural Center,
And like,
right across from Millennium Park.
what days of the week and hours do you work?
I work Monday through Friday, and hours 11 to 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
It's a lot of work, Rick. It's a lot of special stock.
So it's a regular 40-hour work week, like anybody else. I take a lunch, I take 2 breaks, you know. I try to look. I should have a pipe where I can look, you know, distinguished. I'm okay.
Okay, so you already talked about this somewhat, but did you go to school?
Oh yeah, I went to school, grade school, high school, and college.
You
I
said
went
you
to
went
Holy
to.
Angels grade school. Father Clemens was the big time, well-known pastor of that parochial elementary school. And then I went from there. I went to DuSable High School and played sports at DuSable. Then Vietnam, my Vietnam experience. After Vietnam, after I finally decided to free my mind and get off drugs, I went to Columbia College and majored in creative writing and English literature. And 4 years later, in 1980, I got a degree in English literature from Columbia College.
You talked about it a little bit too, but do you want to talk about your past work experience?
Well, yeah, I just was an editor for the Department of Commerce, and I enjoyed doing that. Columbia College is a great college. I graduated from Columbia College in June, and in July I had a job working as an editor for the Department of Commerce. So for all the people that are at Columbia, it looks good. Hang in there and get your degree. You can get to work. And other than that, I worked as a mailman for 7 years and enjoyed that. And then after that, I had another attack, a PTSD attack. That's post-traumatic stress disorder. For anybody that doesn't know what the abbreviation means, it's post-traumatic. In World War I, they called it shell shock. World War II, they called it some other thing. And now, today, the term is post-traumatic stress disorder. And I had a real serious attack, and so I just stopped going to work and stopped doing anything. Like I said, I contemplated suicide. I ended up going to the VA hospital from 94 as an inpatient, staying in the psych ward for 30 days and getting out of there, and being an outpatient from 94 to about 97 till I got tired, because I was trying to get my benefits for being in combat, and they didn't give them to me. The doctor told me, Moody, it was an Indian doctor, I'll never forget it. I want this to stay on the video too, because it's true. This is a true story. It was this Indian doctor, I don't want to mention his name, but I would go there so much when I have my attacks. He said, Moody, 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 Moody. You're not crazy, Moody. You're just going through a revolving door. I said, Doc, I didn't say I was crazy. I'm suffering from PTSD. Oh, Moody, Moody, Moody. He was English guy, and he's Indian doctor. He swore that, there was nothing wrong with me. Just I thought too much. So that's why I never got my benefits, because of this one doctor that thought I just thought too much. I was too smart, and I thought too much, because I graduated from college, which is insane. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not logical thinking, but he blocked me from getting my benefit. I'm not mad at him, but I mean, what he did motivate me to. I think at that point, that's when I started writing poetry at a more pronounced and serious level, because the poetry was an outlet for me having these attacks. When I found out whenever I feel an attack coming on, the poetry helps me. There's an outlet to write, and not have it's not as severe.
And what made you want to turn everything around and start new?
Well, I come from good stock, you know. I was raised in a good family. I came up in a good family background. Like I said, both my brothers went to college, graduated from college, and my mother and father, were studious people, and I didn't want to be the one in the family that was, the runt or the disappointment. I didn't want to be the disappointment. Plus, I just wanted to get back in school. I realized I owed myself more in life to achieve as much as I could achieve and not give up and feel sorry for myself and say, oh man, I can't do this because it's the white man's fault. And for any black people today that want to use that old crutch, oh, it's the white man's fault, the white man, this is 2012, it's nobody's fault but our own if we don't get it done. So don't come up with this, it's the white man's fault no more. That worked for me in '60. It ain't working in 2012. But yeah, basically that's what it was.
Are you close with your family? Do you have a lot of support from them?
Well, only got one brother left. All the rest of the family has gone to heaven. So it's just me and my brother, but we're very close, very close. And actually, he's been in the magazine not in the magazine. I did a story about us, me and my brother hooking up. And he comes every year around 4th of July and Thanksgiving. He's married to a country girl, southern girl. And it's a good thing. She's a beautiful woman. And they come here every year and spend twice a year and get me out there to their families, to her in-laws or her parents. And I put out a big spread and I eat and feast like a champ, twice a year. So the 4th of July is coming up and I can't wait.
You said you were divorced twice, but
Yeah.
Are you married now?
Oh, no. I mean, I don't mean to say it like that. No, I'm not married to Jay. But I'll tell you, I don't know how serious this video is, but I'm going to tell you, I have no problem getting married again because I have no problem getting a divorce again. And that's the truth. But as of today, I'm not married. I don't think any woman in their right mind would marry me either.
Do you have any children?
Yes, I have 2 sons. One is 25 and the other is 30. And one from each marriage. But they don't call themselves half brothers because I told them I'm not a half dad. So they're both full-blooded brothers, and they hang out together once. In fact, my oldest son, Lynn Rasan Moody, is about to get his PhD in June. He graduates with a PhD. My youngest son, Roark II, or Junior, like he likes to call himself, he's working and he's a career student, college student so far. He's been to more colleges than I can think of. No, he hasn't. No, that's a joke. He's been to more than 2 though. He's continuing to go. He loves college. Eventually, he's got to graduate. Hey, Suzanne.
Okay, and what do you like to do for fun?
I like to joke around. I don't play basketball anymore. I'm too old now. So basically, I just tell fun and laugh and have fun and joke. Well, I might try to go swimming every night. And I used to jog. That was one of my great entertainments till I broke my ankle about 2 years ago. Now I can't run anymore. Not any distance,
And is there anything you'd like to say about StreetWise, as far as they helped you get back on your feet or reach your goals?
Well, I guess so. Yeah, StreetWise has been a great help for me, really. Seriously, as far as housing and employment opportunities, medical things like that. They have a medical truck that comes around, and we used to have a medical truck to come around and make sure that we, the vendors could take their flu shots, have their blood pressure taken, and little minor things. Now, if you got shot or stabbed, there wasn't nothing they could do but tell you call 911. But other than that, it's just the normal health issues that dental, have look at your teeth, check your eyes and stuff like that. And hopefully they'll continue that. They had that city vehicle come around and do that again this year. But like I say, work, because whether people realize once a vendor gets to selling the magazine, we actually have a job, we have employment. Whether it's in this economy, a lot of people aren't working. Well, vendors are working every day. So yeah, they've helped me as far as work. And since I've been selling the magazine, I've had a roof over my head. And I've been staying in the same place for the last 10 years. New Jackson Hotel off Jackson and Halston in Greektown. We've been in the same room for 10 years. So, you know, it's helped me as far as financially, economically, which would tie in the finances, housing-wise, it's helped me. And just tremendous, been a tremendous help to the organization as far as me expressing myself as a poet and becoming recognized through my work by different readers. So those are three things that StreetWise has done for me that I'll always remember and always cherish.
And have you built relationships with other people here?
Here? Yes, I have. Yeah, I build relationships. I try, a lot of vendors and a lot of the staff members I build, you know, relationships with, and I feel like we'll be friends forever. Suzanne Haney's one. I've been knowing Suzanne since the beginning, and tremendous relationship. I respect her and everything she said, her opinion. So yeah, she's a good, I consider her a friend and a confidant. And Greg Pritchard's another. He's the one that he's like my guidance counselor. He's like I say, he took off from work and took me to the location. I've been there ever since. So I have to mention Greg. You know, we've had several directors since we've been here, but our current director, Jim LoBianco, is pretty cool. I like Jim.
Okay. Is there anything else like I didn't ask that
you
you
better
want to
mention
talk about?
a few more names. I would like to thank the Academy. Oh no, I'm just joking. I would like to thank Brittany, you know, because without Brittany, I would. She's there. She's always there for me with my poems and everything else. And Ron and Linda and Russell and all the StreetWise staff, and also my fellow vendors that go out there every day and work and project the magazine and the organization in a positive manner. Because that's important. That once we're out there, we're not just representing ourselves, we're representing StreetWise. We want to always be professional and always courteous and kind to the public. Basically,
Okay.
that's a wrap.